close your eyes for a moment, or don't. Just picture God. Whatever appeared in your mind just now, an old man in the clouds, a blinding light, a cosmic force, an empty void, even nothing at all. Notice one thing about it. It was something. It had a shape, or a location, or a definition. It was an image your mind could hold. And that's exactly the problem. Because anything your mind can hold is smaller than your mind. And whatever God is, if the word means anything at all, God cannot be smaller than the mind trying to imagine it. Your concept of God is too small. And here's the strange part. The proof is hiding inside two words you already know. Two words religions use constantly. Two words almost nobody has ever taken seriously. Omnipotent and omnipresent. Let's actually take them seriously, all the way to the bottom. Omnipotent. Omnipotent. From the Latin, omnis, all. Potens, capable. Not all-forceful. Not infinitely strong. All-capable. But that's not what we picture, is it? We picture strength. A cosmic strongman. A being that can lift any weight, win any fight, override any law. The superhero at the top of the power rankings. Look closer at that image, though, and something's off. Strength is a relationship. To be strong, you need something to push against, a weight, a resistance, an opponent. A strong man is defined by his struggle, which means a God whose omnipotence means maximum strength is a God already locked in a wrestling match with its own creation, already inside the game, already limited by the requirement to win. And there's a deeper limit hiding in there. The strong man must be strong. He is not allowed to be weak, not allowed to fail, not allowed to be powerless. But wait, not allowed for the all-capable? Here is what omnipotent actually means if you refuse to flinch, capable of everything, including incapacity, the power to be powerless, the ability to fail, the freedom to be weak, to be small, to be nothing at all. A God that cannot be weak is missing a capability, and a God missing a capability is not omnipotent. It's just very strong. The word, taken honestly, includes its own opposite. This is why the famous stone paradox. Can God create a stone so heavy it cannot lift it? Never lands the punch it thinks it lands. The question is aimed at the strong man, the God who is forbidden from losing, and against him, sure, it works. But the all-capable God? It could make the stone. It could fail to lift it. It could be the stone. Heavy, lift, can, can't. These are rules inside the created frame, and asking whether the author of the rules is beaten by the rules is like asking what's north of the North Pole. The words line up. The map ran out. Follow omnipotence to the very bottom, and it eats even itself. Because if there is one thing this God can't do, can't be limited, can't be defeated, can't not exist, then there's a can't, and the word breaks. So true omnipotence must include the freedom to be limited, to hide, to lose, to not be. All-capable means the power to be everything, and the power to be nothing at the same time. That's not a flaw in the concept. That's the first honest look at it. Omnipresent. Now the second word. Omnipresent. Omnis, all. Presence, present. Present to all. Everywhere. And again, watch what our minds do with it. We picture a gas filling a room. A signal covering the globe. Something spread very, very thin across space. But still a something, still a substance occupying locations. Just a lot of them. That picture is too small. And here's why. Anything that occupies space has edges. And edges are how we notice things. You see the cup because the cup ends and the table begins. You hear the note because there was silence before it. Every single thing you have ever detected, you detected by its boundary, where it stopped being. So what would it actually be like to encounter something with no edges? Something that never stops being, anywhere? It would be like nothing at all. The fish doesn't feel wet. The eye doesn't see itself. You've never once noticed the screen while watching the movie, not because the screen is absent, but because it's present in every frame and never appears as one of the characters. This is the vertigo inside omnipresent. Everywhere and nowhere are the same experience from the inside. A God present in all places has no place. No there you can point to, no address, no direction. Which means the silence people hold up as evidence of God's absence If God were real, God would be findable. Has it exactly backwards. Findable things are objects. Objects have edges. A God you could locate, over there, behind that cloud, inside that temple, and not this one. That God would be too small to be everywhere. And take the word all the way down, like we did with the first one. Present to all, no exceptions. Then that means present in the doubt. Present in the argument against it. Present in the atheist's essay and the believer's hymn. In the question and in the refusal to ask it. Present in the suffering. Not watching from a balcony beside the world, but nearer to the sufferer than the pain itself, the very being in which the pain is happening. Present, even, as what feels like absence. Everywhere and nowhere. Present in everything, including in the seeming of its own non-existence. The word did it again. Taken seriously, it detonates the very picture it was hired to describe. What the words were trying to do. Notice what just happened. We took the two most common words for God, words printed in pamphlets, recited by children, and we didn't water them down. We turned them all the way up, and at full volume. Both words shattered their own definitions. Omnipotent turned out to include powerlessness. Omnipresent turned out to include absence. Everything and nothing. Everywhere and nowhere. Being and not. This is why nearly every argument in the God debate, for and against, misses. The skeptic's paradoxes attack the strongman. The hiddenness argument searches for an object with edges. But the believer's proofs shrink God just as badly. The watchmaker argument builds a craftsman who competes with physics and loses ground with every discovery. The miracle stories build a visitor who only shows up in the exceptions, as if the sunrise were less divine than the healing. Both sides stand on the same small stage, fighting over the same small God, one calling it real, one calling it fake. And if these two words mean what they say, then God is also the stage. And the actors, the one calling it fake and the one calling it real, the argument itself, every word for and every word against. And also none of it, untouched by all of it. Everything and not. If that makes your mind stutter, good. That stutter is the honest response. It's the sound of a finite frame brushing against what the frame is standing on. So now what? All of this might sound like a lot of hot air. A bunch of empty words, folding in on themselves, meaning everything, and therefore nothing. And that's probably right. Look at what just happened here. An entire video arguing that every definition breaks. Every image is too small. Every frame fails. So what does that make this video? Another frame. These sentences, more definitions. One more image, made of words, playing on a screen. So whatever point was just made is already wrong. It has to be. The moment truth is put into words, it becomes a concept, and a concept of God is too small. Every word in this script included. Omnipotent, too small. Omnipresent, too small. Even God. Even everything and nothing. Even this sentence. But being wrong, here, is not a failure. Because if these words are wrong, and they are, then something is left open. A space no definition is filling. A space no argument, for or against, has fenced off. A space where you can look, not at the words, but at whatever the words were pointing toward. Fingers pointing at the moon are always wrong about the moon. That was never their job. Their job was to get you to look up. So take everything you just heard, and let it go. Take whatever you currently mean by the word God, and let that be too small, too. Let it break. Wrong is not where this ends. It's the space where you begin.